Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over lesson 10.7, and in this lesson you're going to learn how to find the area of composite figures. So our first question is, what is a composite figure? So a composite figure is made up of two or more simpler figures, such as triangles and quadrilaterals. Alright, so let's look at our first example. So this is our composite figure here. Is composed of rectangles, triangles, and here we have a square. And I know it's a square because it shows me right here that the base is 4, and this over here is showing me that the height would also be 4, so that makes it a square. So to solve this problem, we're going to find the area of each of these simpler shapes that's inside the composite figure. So we're going to start with the rectangles. And I hope I've given myself enough room. If not, I've got my notebook handy so I can work in my notebook if I need to. So first off, for the area of a rectangle, last year you learned, let's see which one's better. There we go. It's like going to the eye doctor. So we learned last year, or you learned last year in 5th grade, that the area of a rectangle is when you have area equals length times width. This year we learned that a rectangle is also a parallelogram, and we mostly use the formula area equals base times height for parallelograms. So in this case, I'm going to start with this rectangle here. Notice that this rectangle and this rectangle are congruent, same size, same shape. So I'm going to go ahead and find the area of this one. So I'm saying 4 times 10. Bring that on down. So I get that the area of one of those rectangles is 40, and that's in feet squared. So this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and write the area inside of it. It helps me if I do that. So this is 40 feet squared. That means that this one is also 40 feet squared because it's congruent. So you could either say 40 plus 40 or 40 times 2, which is 80. So when we take both rectangles, we get that the area is 80. Now let's move to the triangles. Alright, so we're going to use the formula. I'm going to kind of draw a line to separate this. So I'm going to use the area for a triangle, which is area equals half base times height. So looking here, it doesn't show me what the base is, but we know that this is a rectangle, so these two sides would be the same. So that means that the base here would have to be 4. So we're going to say area equals half of 4 times, and this right here is showing me the height. So that's 4. So half of 4 would be 2, and 2 times 4 would be 8. So this would be 8 feet squared. Now notice this one over here is the exact same. So it's also 8 feet squared. So I could say 8 times 2 to get 16 feet squared for my triangles. So the last shape that I need to find the area for is this square right here. So the area that we learned for the square was area equals S squared, where S means side. So if you take the sides of this square, every side is going to be 4. So we replace S with 4. So 4 squared means 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So this is 16 feet squared. So the last step, and I know this is a lot of steps, but the last step is to just take all of these areas and add them together. So either you could go through here and add all these together, or you could take where we've already doubled our rectangles and triangles and then add that with a square. So I'm going to take the 80 plus 16 for my 80 for my rectangles, 16 for my triangles, plus 16 for my square. And we're going to add those up. And we get 112. And that's feet squared for this composite figure. example 2. So for example 2, I can see I could look at this as being a gigantic trapezoid, or I could break it into a triangle and a square, which is probably what I'm going to do, and this is a trapezoid. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with a square. So for the square, area equals s squared. So the s is for the sides. See how both sides are 12? So we say 12 squared. So that would give me an area of 12 times 12 is 144, and that is centimeters squared. So that takes care of this. So this is 144 centimeters squared. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and go to the triangle. So area equals half base times height. So we're saying half. My base is 16. Now this is the part that most people have trouble with. Most people want to say, okay, so this is base, that means this must be height. Wrong. This is not the height. My height would have to be right here, because see how this is sloped? It's like a slide. Your height will not be that. So we're not even going to be using this number. What would this side be? Well, if we look across, this was a square, all four sides would be 12. So right here, we're going to use our height would be 12. So we're going to say half of 16 is 8. Then we're going to say 8 times 12 to get 96 centimeters squared for my triangle. My last shape is the trapezoid. Now, I didn't give myself a whole lot of room here. So I'm going to do it right here. Area equals half base 1 plus base 2 times height. Alright, so my bases would be the parallel lines. So my parallel lines are these lines right here. So one of my bases is 9, and the other one, what would this be? Again, this is part of the square. All four sides were 12, so that means my other base is 12. And then my height right here is 6. So let's go ahead and do the parentheses first. So 9 and 12 is 21 times 6. Instead of halving, I could half 21, but I'm going to say half of 6 is 3. And 3 times 21 is 63 square centimeters, or centimeters squared. Alright, so my last step is going to be to add those three shapes together. So I've got the 63 plus the 96 plus the 144. And we get 303 centimeters squared as our answer. Alright, and then example 3. Alright, so in this one's a little bit different because, which it doesn't show you the directions here, but in this we want to find the shaded part, the area of the shaded. So that means we're not going to be finding, we're not wanting to include this little window. Say this was a house and this is the window, and we want to know how much paint to get for the outside of the house. Then we would only want to know the area of that part, excluding this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by going ahead and finding the area of the whole parallelogram. Now, before I do that, I've just noticed something. Notice we have inches, 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 feet. So what I need to do before I do anything else is go ahead and take the 1 foot and convert it to inches. So I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. So now that we have the same units, let's go ahead and find the area of this rectangle. So area equals base times height. So my base is 12 and my height is 6, which is 72 inches squared. So this whole thing is 72 inches squared. Alright, but I don't want to include this window. So what I need to do is I need to find the area of the window so that I can subtract it. So first, The area of the window is a square. So we say area equals side squared. So we're going to replace S with 3 for the sides. And remember, 3 squared means 3 times 3. So this is going to be 9 inches squared. So to get my area for the shaded part, we're going to take that 72. We're going to subtract 9. And that's going to give me 63 inches squared for my answer. In Google Classroom, I'm going to go ahead and attach this next sheet. This also comes from your big red. This is page, let me see. This is page 399 in your book if you would rather do it in your book. I'm going to go ahead and it will be attached to this lesson so that you can fill that out. And I'll also attach the practice workbook page if you feel like you need more practice. So that's what we're going to do. And as I did with the last lesson, we'll go back and we'll post an answer key for you to check it toward the end of the week. All right, until next time, I'll see you later.